We're going to talk about a few more things before we get into the assignment for today. And the first one is called variable scope. A variable scope refers to something that we've already played around with just now, but we'll go a little deeper here. And that is, again, what happens in the function stays in the function. That Vegas principle of functions still applies here, in that if I have a function where I've defined the variable x inside this function, right? This x exists only inside this function. So while this function is running, x is 33. I've also defined this x. This is the main program. This is the definition of the function. So I start my main program here. I define x is equal to 20. And then I print x equals this. It's going to print x equals 20 here. Then you can see I call this function, show variables. When I call this function, it runs this code. It sets the value of x to 33. And then on the very next line, it prints right now x equals this. What's it going to print for this? 33, right? Because I literally said it was 33 on the line before. And then that function ends. So my main program resumes, and I'm going to print x equals something. What's it going to print right here? Who says 20? Who says 33? Okay, so let's find out. Let me get this code. And this one does something funky when I print it. That's okay. Okay, so here's that exact code. And now I want to run it. And so even though it runs the show variables function here, it calls it here, I change x to 33, I print it, even prints it out. Right now, x equals 33. When I exit that function, x still equals 20, because this x is the x that lives outside the function. And even though I changed x, it has the same name, I set it to 33 in the function, what happens in the function stays in the function. And so it's probably a good idea for you, as you're naming parameters and variables inside your function that live only inside your function, make sure you name them differently than the variables that live outside your function, as a reminder to yourself that they are not the same thing. Even though you could technically, like I just did in the guessing game, you can name the ones inside your function the same as the ones outside, and they're actually different. If you want to confuse yourself less, name the variables inside your function differently than the ones outside your function, because you will possibly forget that. So that's an important thing to remember, that you will probably forget, and that's okay. It happens to everybody, but try to remember that.